let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Facebook Live and Von Radio's YouTube channel. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education. And we are here with you for another Saturday morning edition of Youth on the Go, of course. As was announced last week, DeAndre will not be in with us today. And so we wish him and his entire family the very best during this time of bereavement. And DeAndre and his family would have traveled to attend his great aunt's funeral. And the funeral is actually this morning, so he already indicated that he would not even be able to listen in because the service will take place just about at the same time that we're having the show this morning. But I just want to say good morning to DeAndre and to his entire family. And once again, we're praying for all of you in this time of your bereavement. At this time also, we want to extend a very happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I know I might have gone a bit prematurely to extending the condolences, but we want to wish all of you a happy Saturday. It's a happy Saturday because each day I think we need to be grateful for being alive and for having the opportunity to interact with those persons we love and cherish every single one of those moments. And so we want to say happy Saturday to all of you. And here we are still not bringing you just the sunshine, we're still bringing you the entire sun. This week was very eventful, dare I say, for I think the entire island of Nevis, the Federation at that. We would have witnessed the visit of the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall. And so many of the students, many people had the opportunity on Thursday to go down to the ferry terminal and do a welcoming greeting activity for the Prince and, of course, the Duchess. And many of the students were excited at the end of the activity. The only thing is that we ended up having a bit of a rain pour, or torrential rain at that. And so we didn't get to stay out as much as we wanted to. But the students who had the opportunity to greet and to see the Prince as well as the Duchess, they were excited about it. One of them told me, she said, Miss Claxton, he shook my hand and I will never wash it again. And I said to her, you go home and tell your mommy that. And I know that the mom must be having a challenge getting her to wash her hand, because not only the Prince, according to her, but the Prince and the Duchess were able to shake her hand. And we just want, as of course, to use every opportunity as a learning opportunity. And so even within your homes, it's a good time to talk about, for the parents and the grandparents, to talk about that previous visit. The Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, did not come to, has not been to Nevis for some 45 years. And so it's a good opportunity to talk to your children and to share with them the history of the Prince. Maybe if you were there the last time that he visited, then you could share with them as well as to what that experience was like and how has it changed and all of that. And then, of course, we had some, after the experience in the ferry terminal, they traveled to the government house, and which was for an afternoon event hosted by the Deputy Governor General, Her Honor, Mrs. Hailita Liburd, and Mr. Liburd. And they were able to interact some more with other students and children. And activities like these are not supposed to be underestimated, because it gives children an exposure to see and an opportunity to see what happens outside of our island territory, outside of our borders. And it gets them to think and learn more about what's happening overseas. It's an opportunity as well for us to teach them about the period prior to our independence and what was it like for St. Kitts and Nevis to be colonies of England. And because it's not something that they would have interacted with and had to learn as much, especially in school, outside of a visit such as this, it is the time now for you to really share the history. And sometimes we talk about the fact that history isn't passed on and children don't know where we came from and children don't know a lot of things. But parents and, of course, the teachers as well, share with the students exactly what our history was like. Prince Charles might not have been the one, would not have been the one who was here when during the time of slavery and the time when we were colonies of England, but sharing about the structure of the British royal family and things along that line would help for our students to make that connection. So the royal family continues. It was something that was there back then, even when Christopher Columbus came and was able to identify, I don't want to say discovered, I guess it was a discovery on this on the end of the British and the entire Europe, but he was able to uncover maybe that there were islands in this area. And so speak to your children about Christopher Columbus coming from Europe and a bit about what happened after the colonization, the fact that, you know, that both the French and the English occupied St. Kitts. I mean, these are wonderful teaching moments for all of you to have interactions with the children. They're older persons in the community. They would have seen several visits by several members of the royal family, and they can, of course, give account of what those visits were like, maybe even do comparisons between this visit and the other visits. And these are things that I said you can't trade, because no matter how much you teach out of a book, there's no trade for a real-life experience. And so I want to commend all the students. The students were elated, as I said. They were very well behaved. They were honored to have been selected from their schools, and I want to commend them for an exceptional job. I also want to take this opportunity to commend the entire team at the Department of Education who worked assiduously to make sure that everything was in place for the students to get to the ferry terminal, and of course the principals and teachers who ensured that everything was in order as well, and not to overlook the importance of our bus drivers who ensured that they got there and back safely. On that note, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go. I am Zanella Claxton. And of course, every Saturday morning, we try our very best to bring you as many activities, opportunities, and of course, reflect on what happened in the previous week so that we can give an update to all of you. And we want to make sure that we have our children, our young people, our students engaged in as many positive activities as possible. Just before the break, I was speaking about the royal visit, which took place on Thursday, and talking about also how we can make connections between visits such as these and activities such as these, and the history lessons, and talking to our students about what happened in the past, bringing it alive in a sense. Last week we also saw the Olympians, our special Olympians who traveled to Abu Dhabi to participate in the Special Olympics, and I am even worry to refer to the activity as the Special Olympics. I know that the Olympics caters to students and persons with special needs who might need additional support, but I don't think that, well, it was a very special, I must say, it was a very special feeling and a feeling of pride as I was able to see that St. Kitts Nevis was able to get a fair number of medals, and a special increased pride when many of the medals are going to be coming back to Nevis when the students return. And so I want to also say congratulations to the students or the persons who traveled to Abu Dhabi to participate in the Special Olympics. I know that they were participating in different activities, including cycling. We got a few cycling activities and medals, as well as there was a pair sport there where Miss Fobbs was part of that team, and they were able to get the gold medal. But outside of, and I will go through the list, but outside of what the medals that they received, for me, the most important part of watching all of those videos was the excellence with which our students were able to receive their medals. Now, I've watched a fair amount of Olympic Games. We know that we have the Olympics every 4 years. And I've watched a fair number of our own athletes here on Nevis receive medals. And the Olympians who traveled to Abu Dhabi, they stood out in my mind. They were extremely professional in all of their doings. If you take a look, and you might want to go back and take a look at the videos at the various medal presentations. But as I looked at them, I thought, they are examples that we all need to follow. And so kudos to the persons who would have worked with the students. Kudos also to the teachers of the various schools, those schools that we have in the Federation, where the teachers work diligently with persons who have special needs. I could see the hard work and dedication which you have put in to making our students ambassadors. And I must say with pride that I will speak to our Cicely Brown Integrated School under the current leadership of Mrs. Violet Clark, and of course supported by Mrs. Jennifer Liebert and the entire team. I could see the hard work that you have invested. And it is no small feat, audience, to work with students with special needs, because they need special care plans. They need special attention. They need consistency. They need schedules. They need a lot of support that most persons become daunted by because it takes a little longer to see the results. But this morning, with pride, I know that the persons who represented the Federation are of the adult age, but they did not get to this place overnight. They did not get to this place in one day. They did not get to this place in 1 year. It took years of commitment, dedication to get them to where they are today. And so, to the entire team, the supporting cast at both the Cicely Brown Integrated and the Cotton Thomas School in St. Kitts, we want to say kudos to you and congratulations to all of the participants in the recently concluded Special Olympics. I also want to take this opportunity to encourage. I think we can see a definite deficit in that area where most persons, as you go out to study and to pursue higher education, most persons are not leaning towards working with students or special populations. And so we want to encourage persons out there who are interested to pursue a career path in education or educating persons with special needs. I want to also encourage all of you to, and those who are already in the field and those who are already volunteering, to professionalize it so that we can continue to see these kinds of outcomes and outputs happening at higher levels. Because what we see at the higher level is a reflection of what's happening on the ground. So what we saw at the Olympics this past week is merely a reflection of, as I said, the work which has been put in for years on the ground. Congratulations to all. Congratulations also to those persons who traveled with the team. That also is important because we want to highlight that without those persons who supported down to the very end, it would not have been possible either. I am once again very proud. I know that we're going to talk about other athletics and other activities, but I am extremely proud this morning of our students, of our team, of our Olympians. And I look forward to meeting and greeting them and getting to know and talking to them and getting to know more about what the experience was like. I'm sure that they would have great stories to tell. And they have traveled much further than any of us, many of us, have. And they are indeed Olympians. I don't put special in front of it. I don't think it's important for us to, well, they're very special. Because, as I said, it takes a lot of energy because of the fact that they're differently abled and they have various challenges. It takes a lot more for them to do what most of us find easy to do. And for them to go out and swim, which I can't do, competitively, for them to go out and compete in cycling, once again, that is a great feat. So we had Miss Tanique Richards. She competed in the 200-meter open water swim, and she was able to receive the gold medal. We had Robert Liddy. He was able to get the gold medal in cycling. And then we had Shane Nisbet, and we all know Shane. We see Shane all the time in Nevis. Shane was able to receive the silver medal in cycling. We also had Shakia. We all know Shakia. Shakia is one of our IT techs in the IT department. And Shakia was able to also place during the Olympic session. I'm extremely proud because, of course, he's within our ministry. He works at the IT department, as I said, as one of our IT techs. And although he's hearing impaired, we know that Shakia works extremely hard. And so it shows that because you have an impairment or something that might to some restrict you, it doesn't stop you from being able to perform and being able to perform well. And so congratulations also to Shakia Stapleton for competing and for being able to medal as well. He competed in the tennis, and so he was able to get gold in that area as well. And then we had Lavender Fobbs, and as I said, she was able to compete and be successful as well. So there isn't a way to express just how proud I am this morning, and I know that all of us are extremely proud of the performance, and we look forward to congratulating them in person. So we have, of course, our own mini Olympics coming up, and we'll talk about the mini Olympics, but it's a ways off. But this evening, I call it a different type of activity, but a very meaningful activity. And for all of those who would have forgotten, we had Blanket Night. Blanket Night is scheduled to take place this evening from 6:30 p.m. This evening from 6:30, we're going to have Blanket Night at the ETW Park. We'll have story time, outdoor games, refreshments on sale. I'm hoping that you would have already registered, because registration took place at the schools for the last few weeks, about a month or so. So I'm hoping you're all registered for Blanket Night. The team of school librarians are working as we speak to ensure that the students come this evening and they have a memorable experience. The activity caters to all school, primary school, well, from zero upward, and they have them grouped by age. And so each age category will be able to have a different experience that is age appropriate. But most of all, the parents and adults in their lives will get the chance to see different ways in which they can read to their students and their children, and how much of an impact reading really has on the development of our children. And the aim of the school librarians is to underscore the importance of reading, and reading with students, and reading to students, and inculcating or helping them to see the importance of reading. Reading is very important. Reading helps you to be able to articulate, to be able to speak and say what you need to say. Reading gives you the opportunity to be able to write, and to write well. It increases your vocabulary. There are so many merits to reading. And so this evening they are going to have a chance for the 2019 edition of Blanket Night. And commendations to Ms. Londa Brown, the entire team at the Department of Education, the school librarians who have been doing the work at the schools. And in mentioning the school librarians, I also want to commend them for celebrating World Poetry Day on Thursday. There were many activities happening on Thursday, but the schools had various activities for World Poetry Day. Students wrote poems. They were able to read their poems. They had displays in the school libraries to share with the students the importance of writing. And I think there is a connection. I know there is a connection between reading and writing. And so this activity, this follow-up activity is very much appropriate, because it's going to help students to see and to embrace the importance of reading and show how it positively impacts their ability to write. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This story what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook Live and YouTube channel. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. Zanella Claxton, and we're here with you at the bottom of the hour. And at the bottom of the hour, we have to make sure that we big up our girl.
Because if we don't big up our girl, we are wrong for not bigging up our girl. What am I saying? Good morning.
Part of who we are.
Yes, it is. Good morning, Zan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we say good morning to Lee. Happy Saturday, Lee. I keep saying good morning.
Yes.
And
happy
it's not
Saturday.
open. It's not morning there
No.
anymore. Okay. Happy Saturday,
Yes.
Lee. How are you doing? I mean, I heard from her yesterday, and she's asking me how am I doing.
Yes.
I am fine, Lee. all we want to know is how you're doing. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. She told me she is okay. Don't worry about her. She has been taking some time for herself, some time with her family. She told me she's taking walks with her dad and, the rest of the family and whatnot. So from all of us here at the Eastern Caribbean Spa House, Lee, we say happy Saturday again. We love you. We are praying for you. From Zanella, from Auntie Vanny and family, from everybody here in Nevis, to you, we send you lots of love and lots of prayers. All right? Keep taking care of yourself. And of course, we're going to make sure that you come back down here to Nevis, to us, so that we can have a grand time. I mean, she has me as her partner in crime.
I know.
And she's
going to come in her folder and
Yes,
today
yes.
and play her upbeat music.
Yes, exactly. So, Lee, can't wait to see you. We can't wait to hear from you again later on. So, once again, do have a wonderful Saturday.
And of course, Melissa, I want to also say a very, very, very special good morning to Lee. I too was making sure, like last week we were trying to make sure that she's okay, and so I'm glad that we've heard from her and that she's taking walks. I think Lee's, as usual, she's a step ahead of me.
I know. She's a step ahead of me.
And she's one who always promotes the importance of exercise and being active and ensuring that we remain as fit as possible. And she's been good about carrying it out all along. She doesn't quit.
She does not quit.
She actually keeps at it.
Ma'am.
And I know when she was here, she started her exercise group to get other people on board. And that is very much commendable. So I'm like you. I'm saying good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, as of course. And while Melissa is excited about you coming back, I'm just excited about you coming back into the studio, because you always bring that light and that high energy, that high energy that we need. So have a great day. I know you're going to tune in at some point to watch the video if you're not watching live. And so have a great day, whatever is left of the day, since you're a few hours ahead of all of us. All right. So, as I was saying before the break, we have our blanket night this evening. So make sure, those of us who signed up, if you heard Leandre, I wish DeAndre was here. If DeAndre were here, DeAndre would have been able to give you a fair account, but he did say that his mother has to go to represent him, so I'm hoping that she did not forget. He would have given you a much more animated account, because DeAndre is much more animated than I am. He would have given you an animated account of his experiences. And what I love is for children to be able to tell you how wonderful an experience was, an educational experience, a positive experience. And so make sure that you are at the ETW Park tonight by 6:30 to be part of the annual blanket night hosted by the school librarians under the leadership of our education officer with responsibility for school libraries.
I love the fact that it's outdoors, because the moon has been
my
beautiful
goodness,
on the past couple nights.
Yes, yes. Actually, it was going towards the full moon, but I actually thought it was already a full moon because it was so bright. I was like, is it full
It
moon?
wasn't a full moon?
Not 2 or
Not
3
fully?
nights ago. By last night, it looked like it
looked-
was.
okay.
Yeah. But I
But
thought,
even 2 or
wow.
3 nights ago?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. So, but it was so bright and it was so beautiful and the sky was clear. So I'm hoping this evening it's equally as clear. And I know that we'll have refreshments, nice little hot dogs and games that you can play with your children as well. And I just believe in outdoor time, away from the technology, away from the gadgets. As much as I love technology and gadgets, you guys, everybody knows how I feel when it comes to overindulgence, especially by children, and the impact it has on their brain development. That's what worries me the most, Melissa. And so an activity like this evening will give you an opportunity to take them out. They don't have to hold a tablet in their hand. They can just listen, pay attention, respond, and have fun with the readers and other children their age. I know the first reading group will be 0 to 3, and I'm kind of wanting to sit in that group. I want to sit in that group just because I want to see how well they are able to interact. 0 to 3, they get very excited, the nursery age. And then, of course, we'll have the preschool aged children and then early primary and so on. And each experience will be different. And so the parents will learn that you can't read to a 12-year-old the same way that you read to a 2-year-old because the level of interaction and discussion is different. But that a 3-year-old enjoys reading just as much as a 7, 8, 9-year-old would. And so you'll get to see strategies that you can use to keep them engaged. Parents complain all the time that their children don't like to read. Well, my mother had a philosophy that when you didn't like to read, she would just read to you. And so eventually you get the information.
You got to sit there and listen.
and you have to interact. She's not reading to you, and then she's not sure if you're listening. So you had to interact. She didn't have that problem per se with me because I love to read, but she believed in, and she was a reading teacher as well, so she believed in reading to you, especially sometimes the children don't have a full grasp of, at the early years, and sometimes even later, they don't have a full grasp of the reading language, and sometimes it gets frustrating for them to read because the words are difficult, or maybe the book is above their level, and the parents sometimes have to read to them. So that it doesn't become as frustrating of an experience and they don't get turned off by reading. There are children who have varying abilities, and some genuinely don't like to read, and some genuinely struggle to read. And so, as I said, the support from the family, the support from the parents. I saw a principal the other night. I was watching something on the news, and there's this principal who reads every Tuesday night on Facebook Live. And the parents are allowed to log in. I don't think it's her personal Facebook page. It might be a Facebook page specifically for that. But at about 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, she puts on her PJs, and she's a primary school teacher, and she gets really creative PJs, with the headpieces and her blanket, and she reads bedtime stories to the children. So that at least once a week, the parents can log in, and that's positive use of technology, and her students can follow her as she reads them their bedtime story. And the interesting thing about that was that her scores at her school was failing in the standardized exams, and the scores have gone up over time. Her interaction with the students, the relationship that she has with the students, they're more open to listening. She doesn't have the discipline and behavioral issues because they look forward every Tuesday night to log into Facebook with their parents, of course, because they won't have student Facebook accounts. And now she has not just her students, but students all over the world who log in via Facebook on Tuesday nights to get their bedtime story. And that just shows you, I have not met a child yet who does not like a bedtime story. No matter how active and energetic they are during the day, if you can read them a bedtime story, it's a different experience. And I think that she's on the right path. And I think that she also provides great support for parents themselves who might have challenge is getting the time to sit down to read or getting the right books to read, she allows for them to log in and watch the story time. And I love that. But I said all that to say that the children love reading. And so activities like Blanket Night will help them to have the opportunity to be read to. And, you know, she would modulate her voice and change it up and, you know, be very interactive. And that gives them the chance. And parents, something like that is a good thing to do. You don't have to wait until Blanket Night.
I was about to say that. You don't have to wait once a year for Blanket Night. You can actually have your own
blanket.
night.
That's kind of awesome.
Get a group of kids together.
Yeah,
Get a group of kids together. Even if it's just
in the
you and your
backyard.
child.
Yes.
Yeah, the front yard, the
Your
backyard.
the veranda.
Full moon as usual.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Every full moon, we challenge parents to.
I was
go
actually
outside.
joking with my sister the other night because of the full moon. Like, we should do a Blanket Night.
Yeah.
And she's laughing at me like, really?
No, but it's kind of Melissa, you have inspired me
Because she's
today.
like, you're too old for a Blanket
No,
Night.
you're not too old for a Blanket Night. And even if you are too old for a Blanket Night in terms of being read to as a story time, perhaps as a community activity, you can have Blanket Night. And maybe you can even collaborate with the school librarians or the librarians at the public library or Miss Brown at the department who's responsible for school libraries. You have so many options. Get the right books. The public library in Charlestown, Miss Paris is there, her entire team is there. They will be glad to help you organize your own mini full moon nights, full moon blanket nights. And so, Melissa, I think I'm inspired. I think I'm inspired. Look out because the calendar does tell you when you're going to have full moons.
Yeah.
So you have time to plan. And you can do it, Melissa. You and your sister, y'all do it as a community activity. Get your cousins, 2 or 3 little cousins, and do a blanket night with them. And have some marshmallows and whatever, little snacks and as healthy as you can. Put some fruit in there so you don't feel too guilty. And let the children have an opportunity to read. It can become, you know, small little pockets of families and communities. Promoting reading is something that is important. And parents don't, as I said, we don't realize as a community how much it helps them. It inspires them. They get really, really excited when they're read to. I don't know if you've seen it. You should try it. Read to a child and see just how animated that child gets.
I have a little cousin. I read to her sometimes. But then she leaves me and she goes and she does something else. I don't know if
you're picking the wrong story.
I don't know if my reading
Oh,
is
you
boring.
have to practice.
I don't know.
You need some practice.
Sometimes she
delivery.
sits and she listens. Sometimes I even finish the story and she's like, "That's it. I need more."
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on their mood too.
Other times she's like, "Whatever."
And sometimes it's a choice of stories. A good thing a lot of times is when you're reading to an individual child. Is to find something that they're interested in. So, for example, if she's interested in dancing, you'll pick the dancing ballerina.
But most of the time, she picks the book.
Oh, she picks
the book most of the time. But then, I guess, I don't know, she's heard the story already. So, halfway through the story, I'm like,
where'd you go? And sometimes, and have you ever tried taking her to the library and letting her pick the books? Because sometimes the books don't meet their expectations. They think it's one thing, and then it's not, and that kind of loses the interest. But when you have 2 or 3, it doesn't matter what the book is about. Just the fact that they can answer you and you get them to repeat some lines from it, it helps them because they feel part of it. That's another thing. When you're reading to them, a lot of times give them a chance to repeat something or find a phrase in there that they can say each time. So when it's time, they know that so it's not you reading, but and sometimes if you show them, especially those who are early
the pictures.
learners, you show them the pictures and you keep pointing out the words that are repeated, it would help them to get a grasp of, because they make the connection visually and, of course, hearing the words. And it helps them to learn the words by consistently having to say it.
But that's the thing. I guess we need new books.
Yes.
Because she already knows the pictures. She knows whatever is.
So go to the library. Go to the library. The library is there. Still has many, many, many books. And once per every full moon, that seems like a good, easy time to go outside. And I know that the librarians will be happy to hear that Blanket Night inspired a new activity. And so we want to encourage you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have to go look to see when the next full moon is so that we can do that. Tonight, though, tonight is blanket night.
At the ETW Park.
What time?
Is it 6:30?
30. Good, Melissa.
6:30.
Good. 6:30. And so we expect not. Don't send your children, please. Don't just send them. Take a few moments out, because when they see that reading is important to you, it becomes important to them. A lot of parents just send their children, but when you just send them to activities, they realize it's not as important to you.
Yeah, I don't think this is an event for just sending.
No. So, but I mean, generally, when they go to activities, a lot of times parents just send them. You know, we send them to school, and we don't come to visit. And even though the teachers are responsible for them, the truth is that children do better in school when they see that their parents are interested in it. I know of a teacher who goes to the home from time to time, very innovative, and actually it helps the child to see the connection. And she would tell them she's not coming to Look News. That's her disclaimer. But it helps the child to see that what is expected of me at school is also what is expected of me at home. And they can go through the child's progress, and the child demonstrates some of the things. And for example, early childhood, there's a checklist, developmental checklist, and some of the areas are ticked off at home instead of at school, because the child is able to demonstrate, and the parents get to see exactly how the teachers go about doing the checklist. So that's something.
And kids observe a lot, I realize. So it also helps that the teachers show that they, the teacher, are interested in the child's development as well.
So both ways. Yes.
The child and the teacher and the parent. Yeah.
And we work together as a team.
Yeah. And trust me, that child is gonna cling to that teacher, Miss So and So, and maybe even say, Miss So and So is my teacher. So and So is my favorite because
they came.
They came and they whatever. I mean, it works.
It works. And I know sometimes we expect a lot from our teachers, Melissa, and we expect a lot of our parents too. But I think if we're all in this together, it can't be one-sided. It can't be just the teachers extending, the interest and showing up, but the parents meet them halfway, and together the children will see that it's important to everybody.
Yeah, because it's general negativity and positivity. If the teacher shows negative, the child is going to feel the negativity. Same way with the positivity. So, I mean, in my opinion, positivity, it's a win either way, both ways. Child is satisfied, parent is satisfied,
Teacher
and
is satisfied.
in my opinion, once a teacher is satisfied, she feels like her work is accomplished. It's a beautiful feeling.
Exactly. And so tonight is the night that we start that. If we haven't started it yet, parents meeting us halfway by bringing them to blanket night, and I can't believe that blanket night is only $20, and of course
Per family.
Yes.
So you can bring as many children as
and
just
come.
for $20.
Just bring your children and come. All right. So we look forward to seeing you. We're going to take a short break, and then we have to come back and give you some updates for interprimary, so you can get yourselves together and ready.
City St. Kitts. Keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa,
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, Facebook viewers, and of course those who are tuned in by our Von Radio's YouTube channel. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. And this morning we're almost at the end of the show, but we really were encouraging all of you to show up and bring your children along tonight for Blanket Night, hosted by the Department of Education, school libraries, school librarians, and they're all getting ready for us to be there and enjoy a night. The full moon and the star, well, the full moon takes over everything else, but I'm sure you can see some stars and really enjoy the cool breeze. Bring your sweater along just in case it gets a little bit breezy.
Not just in case.
It is a little bit breezy. And of course, your blankets as well. You can bring extra blankets along and be ready to lay them out and enjoy Blanket Night. All right. And then, of course, on April 3rd, I didn't forget, on April 3rd, we have the 2019 Gulf Insurance Interprimary Championships. And tickets will go on sale towards the end of next week. And we want to encourage everyone to buy their tickets early so that you don't have to line up. Because we know Interprimary gets a bumper crowd. And sometimes you have to stand outside for a while waiting for your admission tickets, and so we want to encourage persons to purchase early so that they can have entrance to the event and go straight through the gate and get their seats. We will share more information throughout the week in terms of where you can purchase them, but we want to encourage you to make sure that you get those secured. Remember, children will be $5 until April 1st, and then $10 at the gate on April 3rd. So you want to make sure that you get your ticket by next Monday, but they're not at the schools yet. They will be there before the end of the week, though. Okay, so $5, and once you're school aged, once you're primary or secondary school student, you can get your ticket for $5 until the end of the day on April 1st, and then that allows us to get the tickets back, those that are left over, and be ready for April 3rd. And look out for the Department of Education's booth at the upcoming Agriculture Open Day. I know everybody and their third cousin has to be at the 25th anniversary of the Agriculture Open Day, and so look out for that. Adult tickets are $15, and so adults as well, make sure that you get your tickets early. I understand that some persons had their payday recently and the others will get them before that day. And so make sure you put aside your $15 if you're an adult, your $5 if you're a child, and if you might as well, I guess you might try to get $10 aside just in case you forget or you miss the April 1st deadline. But don't miss it so that you can save. You can buy 2 tickets for $10 and maybe give your friend a treat as a gift from you. So we're going to have those on sale. The event starts at 12 noon. The opening ceremony starts at 12 noon. It will be a very short but significant opening ceremony. And then we proceed with the first race at 1. We will not be late. We have to be on time. We're not going to, we're trying our best, unless there's something that comes up that's really major. But we're really trying to make sure that the first race starts at 1. It is a child-friendly event, and we want to make sure that we keep the momentum going so that we can finish at a decent hour. We know that the Nevis Athletic Stadium is very well lit, but at the same time we would want to, some of the children really get there early. They leave home after 7, after 8, and we don't want them to be back out as much as possible after 8 again, because that would mean that they'll be out for 12 hours. So April 3rd, we want all of you to make sure that by 12 o'clock you are at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, so that you can witness the first race. And I want to commend the entire team that has been working to make sure that the championships, the 2019 edition, is a success. So $5 once again, children before April 1st, $10 on the day of the event, and then adults $15 across the board. And we'll let you know where you can purchase your tickets in advance so that you can get them and have them in hand. So stay tuned. We'll make sure that we share that information. You have to listen to Community Calendar as well as stay tuned, and you can also call the department sometime Wednesday or Thursday to find out if you're not sure where you can purchase a ticket. We want to take this opportunity to start encouraging everyone to support the students, support all of the students, make sure that we know everybody has their favorite. Everybody loves and has some kind of allegiance to a particular school, whether it be that it's your alma mater or that your children attend that school. And I know I've seen some banter and rivalry on Facebook. Most of it is friendly, but I want you to not take it out on the children. Keep your friendly banter among yourselves, but encourage your children and the persons you're supporting to do their best. But don't make them feel intimidated or threatened. This event is not meant to intimidate them. They're very young. They're very young, and so they have a lot more development to do. They have a long way to go in terms of getting to, let's say, the Carifesta. Why do I have Carifesta on my mind? Carifesta is this year as well in Trinidad. Yeah, but no, it's not Carifesta, it's Carifta. To get to Carifta, to get to the Olympics, but we can't start intimidating them at such an early age. So please support your school, support your students. School pride, I'm big on school pride. I know that some of the schools will be having their Spirit Pride Week this week, just in anticipation of what is to come, and to encourage their students to support their school. That is excellent, it's exceptional. But we want, as well, as I said before, not to intimidate them, not to threaten them, not to make them feel uncomfortable. We want them to know that you're doing this for your school. But there are bigger levels, because when you're finished with your school, then you represent the island. Then you represent the federation. And so you have different levels on which you can go. And at any level, at any point, there should be pride in the institutional establishment with which you're associated. And so, April 3rd, place to be, Nevis Athletic Stadium, 12 noon. First race starts at 1 o'clock. And tonight, place to be, ETW Park, to ensure that you're part of the Blanket Night. And next week, I'll tell you a bit more, but on April 15th, we'll have a junior chef competition. It's being hosted by the Department of the Ministry of Health, Health Promotion Unit, and of course collaborating with the Department of Education, because it's the school's junior chef competition. We'll tell you a bit more about that next time so that we can get an audience to come out and support the students as well. But that is for April 15th. And so there are always things that are coming up.
There's an Easter camp.
Oh yes, Easter camp goes from the 8th to the 18th. Department of Youth and Sports Easter Camp, and it's Camp Rights this time. And so we'll be looking at their human rights, and with rights comes responsibility. And so children ages 5 to 16 are encouraged to, I already signed up, Camp Rights. Camp Rights from the 8th to the 18th of April. And we want for our children to know these are rights, but with every right comes a responsibility. We'll be back with you next week, and we'll share more information with you.